Meanwhile, the outlook was not sunny everywhere. A man from Sudan was arrested after he attempted to behead another man on video in the streets of Belfast in Northern Ireland. In that graphic video, this insane brute pinned his victim down in the street and repeatedly stabbed him in the face and neck. In that video, one person was heard screaming, "He's trying to cut his head off!" In fact, the victim was saved only because bystanders stepped in and wrestled the Sudanese killer off of his victim at risk to themselves. The victim was taken to the hospital with very serious injuries. And according to neighbors, the victim, Stephen Ogilvy, had helped the very man who tried to behead him move in as a next-door neighbor just 4 days before this incredibly disturbing attack was perpetrated against him by the man that he had just helped. Mr. Ogilvy suffered devastating injuries, including the loss of his eye and very deep slash wounds to his head and back. And as for the public danger here, the perpetrator was arrested on charges of attempted murder, but authorities did not release his name. In fact, if we're being entirely honest here, and I at least try to be, they botched most everything about this situation, and the costs of that were devastating. First, police identified the attacker as a man from Somalia. And then later, they determined that he was actually from Sudan. Potato, potato. The police chief broadcast what I assume was supposed to be a reassuring message to a frightened public. And instead of conveying confidence and that the authorities had everything under serious control, he swayed back and forth like a 13-year-old girl shyly having her first conversation with a boy. I'm serious. Go watch the video. According to the Belfast Telegraph, Assistant Chief Constable Ryan Henderson said that his understanding is that the individual was given leave to remain in Northern Ireland. Oh, well, okay. Case closed. Why are we even upset? A, he was not given leave to remain by the people. And B, it sounds like that was a very responsible and safe decision that was made on their behalf by those who make these decisions. Can't imagine why the people are upset. I mean, it's so unreasonable of them. Nigel Farage, the leader of the surging Reform UK party, called for full transparency in the details of this attack, and you should listen to him. Anything less is only going to fuel it. Meanwhile, due to so much suffering that has come from entirely irresponsible policies, Farage has been calling for a freeze on immigration. I would point out that under the 10 years of Blair, more people came in than the millennia before that, the Vikings and all that, from the Battle of Hastings in 1066 to 1950. 1066 to 1950. Less people came in during that millennia than came in under 10 years under Blair, and they've only escalated it since then. Farage stated, "What happened in Belfast last night is horrific. The authorities must reveal the identity and status of the attacker immediately. The public are entitled to the truth." Yes, they are. And telling them that they're not is only going to escalate things. Seriously, get smart. Whether you agree with that or not, get smart. In the wake of this brutal stabbing, Northern Ireland's Justice Minister, Naomi Long, performed the old Norm MacDonald joke about if terrorists nuked 1 million innocent people, The big concern would be the possibility of Islamophobia, not the million dead victims. When she said that she was scared, not about the innocent civilians being beheaded by their imported neighbors, but about a potential backlash to minorities, while warning that this attack should not be used to fuel nebulous, dangerous narratives. Telling the BBC, "I also know there are many people in our community, people from ethnic minority backgrounds, who are terrified today about any kind of retaliation or backlash against them, which we have seen in the past." Hilary Benn, the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland, told people to remain calm. That worked well, while the investigation played out, saying, "The attack last night in Belfast was deeply shocking, and all our thoughts are with the victim who is seriously injured in the hospital, and with his loved ones. I would like to thank the individuals who showed extraordinary bravery in coming to his aid." That part at least is true. The British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, condemned the attack, while completely 100% ignoring the origin of the suspect and the policies that allowed him into that country, saying to the people of Northern Ireland, who historically love hearing from British prime ministers, "The horrific attack in Belfast last night is sickening. I have absolutely no tolerance for abhorrent scenes of violence like this on our streets." Yeah, you just let in the people who do it. "My thoughts are first and foremost with the victim, and I thank the first responders, including members of the public, who intervened." Well, I mean, someone has to clean up your mess, Mr. Prime Minister. Meanwhile, protesters made it clear that they want an end to mass immigration from third world countries. This is true in Ireland as well as in England. But the people have been told by a handful of elitists in power to shut the bleep up. And they've been told that for way too long. Hence the scenes you are seeing on the news. I mean, it's basically the French Revolution coming to life again. This is what happens when you tell the entire public to eat cake. Protesters took to the streets in Ireland 2 years ago after a similar stabbing resulted from irresponsible immigration. This time, mass protests, fires, and clashes with police erupted across parts of Northern Ireland. In fact, within hours, Belfast became the scene of dramatic videos showing protesters torching vehicles and burning buses in the streets, as well as creating roadblocks and setting up intense clashes with the local police. One of the videos showed a moving, burning car crashing into an apartment building. Another picture showed a bus burning as the digital sign at the station politely posted, "Sorry for the inconvenience." I mean, you can't make this shit up. What the? There are no words. One group was also seen vandalizing houses and breaking windows. So these were full-scale riots complete with looters. After going unheard, and in some cases being shut out of parts of their own villages, excluded from the central parts of their towns, which had been commandeered by new arrivals who told the local indigenous people, the native Irish, that they were no longer welcome in their own villages. Big surprise. The unrest quickly took on an anti-immigration tone. At one protest, a man shouted that he wanted England for the English. And I would just point out you would not have a problem with that if it was someone saying Egypt for the Egyptians or Japan for the Japanese, or Nigeria for Nigerians. What's the difference? It's still the indigenous people saying they want their land to be primarily theirs. Anything that is less than either rejection of all of those claims, no matter who they come from, or acceptance, no matter who they come from, is hypocrisy. It's just blatant double standards. And we all know it, including you. Another group shouted that they wanted terrorist scum off our streets. I can understand that. People who actually want to kill you if you don't think like them, yeah, I want them off our streets too. Terrorists are not part of the free world. Doesn't mean people from those countries can't be. Doesn't mean Muslims can't be. It does mean terrorists cannot be. The footage on social media showed what appeared to be a large group of masked locals storming and setting fire to properties that were housing migrants in Northern Ireland. Another video showed a house completely engulfed in flames. As the anger over migrant crime that I have been warning and warning about the danger of shushing boiled over across the pond. Tommy Robinson likewise said on X, Britain is at a breaking point and the government have turned their back on the people. And whatever you think of him, that statement is 100% true. This is so dangerous. You are playing with fire by clamping down until you get a real explosion. You need to release the pressure valve, tyrants, for your own survival. I am not endorsing violence, but I'm not stupid. I know what causes it. If you keep clamping down, there's going to be an explosion. Not because I want there to be, but because there is. I'm pointing to a body. That doesn't mean I killed that person. I'm saying, look, there's a dead body. Not because I killed it, because I saw it. I see this coming. That doesn't mean I'm endorsing it. I'm just saying, look, a cliff, don't go over it.